You are just one final exam on Roman Empire history away from enjoying your spring break. But there is still so much to study. So, like many students before you, you decide to pull an all-nighter. However, staying up all night means fighting against your body's natural circadian rhythm. This rhythm is a natural 24-hour cycle that regulates biological processes like sleep and wakefulness, heavily influenced by light. As night falls, you are still focused on events surrounding Julius Caesar. Meanwhile, your eyes are sending signals about the decreasing light to a part of your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This is essentially your circadian rhythm's clock. It alerts your pineal gland to start producing melatonin, a hormone that helps your body prepare for sleep. Melatonin levels begin to rise about 2 hours before your usual bedtime. At the same time, neurons in the hypothalamus and brainstem release GABA, a compound that slows down brain activity, producing a calming effect. Meanwhile, your core body temperature starts to drop since the brain needs to cool down before sleep. But you force yourself to keep studying, even as your attention starts to wane. You stare at a map of the Roman Empire and suddenly think it looks like a face. That's a sign that fatigue is affecting your perception. Throughout the day, your brain has been releasing adenosine, a natural waste product. As adenosine binds to receptors in your brain, you begin to feel drowsy and less attentive. To counteract this, you reach for a cup of coffee. Caffeine works by blocking adenosine from binding to its receptors, helping you feel more awake. However, it can also make you jittery and anxious. You return to your flashcards, confident that you are retaining the information well. The problem is that this information is currently being stored mainly in the hippocampus, a critical part of the brain for memory. Normally, during sleep, memories are consolidated and transferred to the neocortex, where they are stored long-term. Without sleep, newly acquired information may not fully integrate into long-term memory, making recall more difficult later on. Fortunately, you only need to remember this information for tomorrow's test. You keep pushing forward, but exhaustion starts to take over. Microsleeps, uncontrolled moments of sleep lasting just a few seconds, begin to occur, causing lapses in focus. You stretch in an attempt to stay awake, but by now, your motor skills have also suffered. Studies show that after 19 hours of wakefulness, coordination and reaction times are comparable to those of someone who is intoxicated. Then, the sun rises. Your pineal gland stops releasing melatonin, and you feel a sudden second wind of energy. Strangely, you find yourself in an unusually good mood. This is because sleep deprivation can temporarily increase dopamine levels, creating a short-lived sense of euphoria. However, this can also lead to poor decision-making. Nevertheless, you head to school feeling optimistic. The test starts off well. The multiple-choice section is a breeze. But then, you reach the essay portion. This is where the real struggle begins. While your brain can still recall facts and figures, it struggles to connect ideas and analyze information. Research suggests that sleep plays a crucial role in processing information and forming connections between new and old memories. So, while you may remember historical events, you find it much harder to formulate strong arguments or generate insightful ideas for your essay. After the exam, you feel exhausted, anxious, and irritable. This is because your amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for processing emotions, is in overdrive. Normally, your prefrontal cortex helps regulate emotional responses, but due to sleep deprivation, it is not functioning at full capacity. When you finally get home, you collapse onto your bed, and sleep has never felt so good. The good news is that after just one night of sleep deprivation, your body and brain can recover relatively quickly. However, if sleep deprivation becomes a habit, it can have serious consequences. Chronic sleep deprivation is linked to various health issues, including diabetes, stroke, and chronic pain. It also increases the risk of developing mental health conditions such as depression. Furthermore, a lack of sleep negatively impacts academic performance. Studies show that students who maintain a regular sleep schedule tend to have higher GPAs than those with inconsistent sleep patterns. So, the next time you consider pulling an all-nighter, remember that the Roman Empire wasn't built in a day, And you can't learn everything in just one night either.